Hey guys, and welcome back to some more glorious Immortal Empires Early Access Showdown. I'm a Rubber Duck War, and yes, Orion is back, baby! He is here to bring wrath, vengeance, and justice to those who oppose him, and it's going to be a bit of a grudge match. We have the Wood Elves versus the Beastmen. I shall be in charge of the mighty woodland folk, whereas Samurai Warrior is the master of the beast today. I played a really awesome session with Samurai Warrior. We played a load of land battles, so expect to see those pretty much consistently this week. We got played like 4 or 5 incredible games back to back. They're all a bucket ton of fun. So really excited to delve into this. We're going to keep the game paused for the start of this because, as you can see, the battle does get underway relatively quickly. Now, our main battle line is simple stuff. We have Dryades in the central pocket and then Eternal Guard guarding the flanks and rear in a nice defensive formation surrounding a triple Glade Guard. Now, they do have Starfire shafts as well as Hagbane tips. In the center, this is where our army gets a little bit juicy, however. We have the glorious Enigmas, the regiment of renowned Zoats, who are actually okay. Like, people take the piss out of Zoats all the time, but they're really good at one thing, and pretty much one thing only, and that is destroying chariots. And consider them up against the Beastmen, I certainly expect them to come into a pretty good usefulness here today. Leading our battle line, we have the Dream Team, the duo, the kind of Love Island of the Warhammer world, Ariel as well as Orion, of course, coming in with all the goodies, Horn of the Wild Hunt and so on. Ariel herself is going to be blessing us with Tempest, which is going to be completely useless against my opponent's army, sadly, Soul Stealer and Apotheosis, so plenty of room for healing potential there. As for my opponent, he's gone very, very wide with the cavalry, as you'd expect from the beast folk. We have a load of centaurs on the right-hand side, backing up a couple of Chaos Warhounds, Goreherds in that central battle line, backed up by some Throne Axes, and then there are the dreaded chariots. We have the Tuskor chariot, we have the Brave Shaman of Wild Magic, who's going to be a little bit naughty today, coming on his own chariot, and he has Vile Tide and Devolve as his poisons of choice. We then have Khazrak One Eye, and I don't know what sub-faction my opponent is playing as, but my god, do I hate the colour scheme. The yellow is disgusting. In the distance, we can see another disgusting creature, the Javaslife. Without further ado, let's get this battle underway. Yes, Orion is screaming a battle charge as we do move and rotate a tiny bit into battle position. Arrows are already flying. The Goreherds, though, simply will raise their shields, and they're quite happy to absorb that. Well, they're not going to be too happy to absorb is the hateful attacks from the Dryades, who bomb rush in there. Going to do a pretty decent damage on their enemy, I would think, and you can see the big damage coming in, though. The chariots push all the way through, aiming to get into my back line pretty damn quickly, so the Zoats are going to counter-charge where possible. As I said before, they're fantastic at pinning in and destroying chariots. Elsewhere, my opponent's hounds are starting to whip around the flanks. I'm trying to protect with the spears where possible, but there are gaps opening up, and I'm a little bit too slow on the draw there. You can see the Chaos Warhounds. Looks like Homer Simpson vomited on them colour scheme-wise, but maybe that's the point, to distract the enemy. They are devouring up Glade Guard in the back now. Doesn't do good for me whatsoever. Likewise in the front, we're doing pretty good actually. The Goreherds are being forced back, Dryades driving away the enemy, distracting the Javaslife and pulling it out of combat. Elsewhere, the enemy chariots get absolutely bonked on. They get destroyed and forced back by the mighty Zoats, who quite comfortably are able to drag them down. More Eternal Guard do move into the fray. Looks like a Vile Tide maybe coming down. No, it is a Soul Stealer. Lovely stuff for me here. So Soul Stealer goes down, catching a number of enemies, and the Enigmas now will charge in, hunting down the Javaslife, looking to surround the beast and drag it down. There was some nice Glade Guard support coming in with the Starfire shafts. They are now being beaten up pretty badly by the Centaurs, who are running them over, trampling their bodies under hoof. It looks like Orion and Ariel sticking together. They like to hang out these days, and it looks like the Dryades going to be used just to push away a load of Centaurs and try and waste their Throne Axes. I don't mind this play at all. It's just really good news if I can get rid of those Throne Axes to help protect the Zoats in the latter stages of the battle. As for the Zoats, they are counter-charging Centaurs left, right, and centre, and they just demolish units like this, so it's a good day for them. Alas, the Glade Guard are being forced off in all different directions. Infantry Corps is still going strong, though. We have Eternal Guard and Dryads going to be moving over towards this bit of a blob fight that has formed on the right-hand side. Elsewhere, Beastmen are clearing up my troops, which I've got a little bit over-eager. And it looks like we do have one Tuskor chariot coming back, but it is very beat up at the moment. Cheeky Apotheosis goes down on the Enigmas. It looks like a beautiful forest has sprouted from the ground upon the Gors. Their blood shall hopefully allow the trees to feast and grow strong. We're also maybe going to have some Hounds or Hawk's Talon come in. There we go, a big Talon. That's Orion popping some shots down from the skies. Looks like there's a Vile Tide to counter the Eternal Guard, though. Very close stuff so far. In the back, we are struggling a little bit to get to grips with Khazrak One Eye, who can be a bit of a nuisance these days. The Zotes doing a good job, though, up against the Centaurs. We're beating them back relatively effectively. And we do have some Hounds being summoned into action. I love their sound effects as well as the new design of the spells. Jumping around the Centaurs, not the best cast there. They kind of faded away a little bit. But hey, damage is damage at the end of the day. Always happy to get a bit more stick on the opponent. We have a regrowth now going down on the Enigmas. That, of course, is going to be their base regrowth that they come with. They've had Apotheosis as well. Still 15 models out of 16, so quite happy to get the heals off there. In the main infantry fight, we are just about winning. The Brave Shaman is a bit scary, however, and there's just a sea, a roving sea of Centaurs kind of flooding over the desert here, looking to hunt me down, and they're being used really effectively by my opponent. Jumping onto the Glade Guard, stopping any of my reinforcements from coming back into the action, but as long as the Zotes live, I still have hope, and now we're getting in, surrounding the Javaslife, attempting to drag down this vile creature of evil. The Eternal Guard trying their best to get involved, but realistically they don't have the mass to pin in such a creature. Ariel as well as Orion are on their way as well to come help out, and Orion's very healthy, likewise is Ariel here, so one of the Wild Hunt goes down. That's going to be improving the charge bonus of all of my troops. Looks like it has just dissipated, however. Javaslife lost significant HP, going to have to fall back there, try to recuperate a little bit, lick his wounds, and get back in on the action. Wherever you look, there's Centaurs, and they are just circling my force here. And it's a little bit scary stuff. Normally it's the Wood Elves are the one using the mobility, but I fought against Beastmen, go for a bit more of a sturdy central pocket, coming in with the Zotes, Orion, and Ariel. Might be the way to do this, and it looks like we're doing okay at the moment. It's very close, though. The Javaslife is taking significant damage. He's starting to get into a bit of a confrontation with Orion. A Vile Tide is going to allow him to escape. Orion, though, simply swaggers through the green mist. He is very used to green mists and decides to instead, though, go after this Brave Shaman, which I'm rather happy with. If I can get this Brave Shaman off the battlefield as quickly as possible, that's just going to be a massive boon to me. Looks like the Enigmas did get a buff on themselves, but it has now dissipated. The Hounds were summoned to fend off the Thrown Axes, and they're going to do a little bit of extra damage, but nothing too crazy, unfortunately. Thrown Axes are now lining up shots, aiming at the Enigmas. We have the Centaurs charging, though the Zotes do come with a nice counter charge. Elsewhere, there's a little bit of support for infantry-wise. I have some Eternal Guard left standing. This one unit, poor lads, are going to be put into a tricky situation, attempting to hold back 3 units. We catch him with a Soul Sealer, though, as well as some more glorious trees sprouting from the seeds of Ariel. It looks like the Javaslife is trying to focus her down. She's no longer unbreakable like she once was. With Orion nearby, she's pretty sturdy and doesn't really want to flee anywhere. We do have a few Glade Guarded Hagbane tips on the approach back. It looks like the Enigmas are still pretty healthy for the late game. We have healed them up significantly, though. Brave Shaman's alive. Centaurs as well as Thrown Axes are still rocking it. It looks like the Thrown Axes are dwindling on ammunition, though. Only 4 volleys left, which isn't too good news for them. And the Jabber is getting rather low, unfortunately. Seems like the Centaurs do have apocalyptic vision on them. However, Orion has a big bow, and that tends to be able to take down most enemies. It looks like a lot of these forces will start to be broken. Of course, Ariel does indeed cause terror, and I don't blame her. She's a pretty scary foe. I swear she causes terror. Have I gone insane? This is quite possible. No, she does indeed cause terror. Glorious stuff. Kazrak is running over the bodies of the Simpsons, as well as many Wood Elves here. Ariel is going to be trying her hardest. Looks like yet another Soul Stealer may indeed come down. That's going to catch a load of units now. Soul Stealer is significantly worse than it once was, but any air effect damage at the moment I am pretty keen for. Orion is just hunting down the Javaslife, forcing away from the action once more, and the Goreherds flee before the Mistress of the Forests. She is devastatingly angry right now, and rightfully so. Beastmen have done some pretty atrocious stuff to the Wood Elves over the years, and I don't blame their kind of the Wood Elves' hatred for them. More Hounds are summoned, going through the Centaurs, doing some okay damage. Again, nothing too crazy, but it's just going to force them away and be a bit of a pain in the butt, and damage is damage at the end of the day. It looks like the Jabber's going to be used to hunt down some Eternal Guard. In the distance, Glade Guard, unfortunately, will be getting finished off by the One-Eye himself. And now Ariel is a little bit alone. I'm kind of bouncing around, trying to save too many units. I should probably just bunch up at the moment. And it looks like Orion furiously charges in. Seeing that people are attacking his lady, decides to get a bit of vengeance here. Big spear to the back of the dome. The chariot, it gets... Oh, I thought it was going to get shattered there. Just about sticking it around. Centaurs do charge into the Zotes, who get an Apotheosis on them once more, getting relatively close to their healing cap. Still 14 models. It only lost 2 models all day long. Got 62 kills. Absolutely ridiculous work from them so far. And yeah, you can see many Centaurs do falter and fall, getting driven away once more, and a Soul Sealer comes in to try to thin the herd. Ariel is on a reapproach as well, trying to get into the middle. Orion goes for a lovely counter charge on Khazrak One-Eye, looking for the ultimate duel and the ultimate showdown of ultimate destiny. Khazrak's probably not going to want to stick around here for too long, though he's been buffed and is quite powerful now. Orion is very Orion-like in the fact that he's going to punch you really hard in the face and probably not feel anything too much himself. Glorious. Look at him, he stands so tall even over the mighty Centaurs, dispatching them with mighty swings of his blade. Unfortunately, the Zotes go down incredibly quickly here, considering how healthy they were, but that's what Khazrak can indeed do to you, particularly when he buffs up all his infantry like this. So many Centaurs are still around on the battlefield. The Jabber is coming back into the action, giving up his pursuit of the Eternal Guard. I think this is a wise choice. He's definitely more needed here in the middle to help Khazrak try and take on Orion, but Horn of the Wild Hunt goes down, plus a Berry Wine we've been saving in the back pocket. That's going to quite comfortably get Orion back up to full HP once again, and with that, Balanced Power is moving desperately close to army losses. My opponent needs to get some damage on me, and he needs to get that damage on me now. But Orion's just so scary, man, particularly alongside Ariel in the middle. That terror going down, the Centaurs are consistently being forced back. Oh my god, that was disgusting. The tendrils just coming up from the sand and slapping Centaurs left, right, and center. Orion as well, been an absolute chad, as one would expect. His mighty spear is pretty red now with the blood of dead beastie boys. The ground is littered with corpses all over. Looks like we have some Eternal Guard left, but apart from that, it is just our hero core. My opponent's doing a lovely job with Khazrak, using his buffs and cycle charge wherever possible. And now we do have the Jabba Jabba coming in to try to party a little bit and see how much damage he can do. With Orion pretty much on, 3 cores HP, Ariel on half HP. Things are looking at relatively rough, particularly because the Beastmen forces are broken so many times, they're going to start to shatter. And seeing your friends shatter and break does really break the heart and the morale of any good army. Jabba's going to be forced back. Looks like he's trying to do a bit of cycle charge and rotating between the Lord and the large single entity here, new to the effectiveness of Orion, or at least attempt to, but every time they come in, they're taking big hits. Khazrak is terrified away despite his vision of apocalypses. It was his own fate he should have been a little bit more concerned with, and the King of the Woods is also now the King of the Sand Dunes. Very well played to Samurai, and as I said before, me and Samurai played so many good games, it was ridiculous. Like, normally when you sit down and have a session, you have a couple of really good games, a couple of games which are really one-sided, and we just had like banger after banger after banger. They were like super good games, so expect to see a lot of Samurai Warrior on the channel in the next coming days. And that was a good fun one, like going pretty off-meta, both of us here. Khazrak One-Eye, 1.4k value, not a bad man whatsoever. Like, he's pretty decent now, but often I still find myself going for Torx the Brass Bull in a competitive sense. As for ourselves, it was really these front 3 units. I don't think anyone else did that much. Orion, 2,800 gold value, 118 kills, and was still relatively healthy in the end. 1.7k and 129 kills from Ariel, and nearly 2,000 gold value on the Enigmas. Really slept on unit, though we did use a lot of healing on them as well. Of course, they use their own regrowth, that's a value they bring into the party, but I believe they also had, 2 or 3 apotheosises popped on them just to keep them going. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. It was a really fun one to play and cast. If you did, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content into the future. We're going to be consistently dropping Immortal Empires content all the way up into release, of course, and into the future after that. So if you like Total War stuff, feel free to stick around. Feel free to leave a comment down below. And oh my god, these Centaurs did so much value. Look at that, all of them over 1,000. This one 1,700. Nice stuff. Yeah, feel free to leave a comment down below what you thought of the battle, and yeah, if you would like to see some new stuff in the future. Load of links down below: Twitch, Patreon, Discord. Until next time, peace, peace, and as always, stay awesome.